Is it bad for your professional career as a voiceover actor if you refuse to record certain scripts? Can you be selective in the work that you do, the projects that you take on, and can you turn down jobs that go against your own personal standards, beliefs, and values and still be successful in voiceover? That is the question that was recently sent in, and it's what we're going to be talking about in this episode. Welcome to another episode of the Voice Acting 101 podcast. I'm Jason. This is episode number 40. Want to thank you for listening however you are, either on the Voice Acting 101 website, one of the podcast streaming services, or on YouTube. Just want to say thank you for taking a few minutes out of your day to be here. Before we get into today's topic, just a quick reminder, if you have had the thought about becoming a voice actor, or if you feel like you have a passion for it, but you just aren't sure where to start, I've put together a guide that I think can help you. It covers the 5 steps to getting started in voiceover today. You can download it for free. It's at voiceacting101.com/get started. Even if you're already in voiceover, it's a good reminder for all of us on the things that we need to be focusing on every day. So if you feel stuck or like you're at a bottleneck, I think this guide can help you break through. And again, that's at voiceacting101.com/get started. All right, today's question was sent in by Devin, so let's go ahead and give it a listen.
Hey, Jason. I have a quick question for you. So I want to be a voice actor specifically focusing on character work, TV shows, video games, stuff like that. But I have a very specific hang-up in that because of religious reasons, I don't swear. So I'm wondering, do you think that'll be a big hang-up for me? Do you think that's going to be something I'm going to have to compromise on if I want to be successful? Or is that something I can negotiate around to keep that specific value, but still be a successful voice actor? Thank you for the podcast, by the way. I'm a huge fan of the whole thing, and I look forward to hearing back from you.
All right, thanks for sending in your audio, Devin. Great question. So my answer, the short answer is that yes, you can be successful in voiceover, in animation, in character voiceover, or in any kind of voiceover, even if you don't swear. So here's what I recommend, because this is something that I've had to deal with myself as well. I want you to remember voiceover is your business, so you get to decide what you are willing to do and what you won't do. Now, with that said, the truth is you will lose jobs because of this, and it's not just for swearing or profanity, but really for any standard or value or kind of a line in the sand that you set where you're selective about the jobs that you take on. If you're turning down jobs, you're losing those jobs. So that's going to have some kind of impact on your business. But in the end, that's a good thing. You have to stick to your values. You should never compromise because the last thing that you want is to be doing work that goes against what you believe. And I've heard from students in the past that they've been told by coaches, there's a saying that they just say, just do your job. When you get a script, doesn't matter what the topic is or if you believe it or if you agree with it, they just say, record the script, just do your job. And that may be okay if you're using your voice for someone else's point of view. But if it's something that you're passionate about or it goes against your conscience, I think you have to pass on the job. And that's going to be a personal choice for everyone. So only you know what those reasons are when you would want to pass on a job. But it's not that different. For example, let's say like if the budget was too low, you'd pass on the job. Or if it's written in a different language, you would pass on the job. Or if it's a large medical narration with hard to pronounce words that you'd just be miserable working on, then you would pass on the job. So if it goes against what you want, then you're free to turn down the job. You're going to miss out on the job, but it's a job that you didn't want anyway. So does it really even matter? And there are plenty of other clients that have jobs that are going to meet your standards and that you're going to have no problem doing. So there's no shortage of jobs that are going to meet your standards. And you will be tested. You're going to have the opportunity to audition, and you're going to be offered work on projects that go against your personal standards, but you're going to have the freedom to just say no, and then you want to move on to the next one that's going to be a better fit for you. So here's how I would handle it. And really, it just comes down to communicating with the client. And there's a few ways that you can prevent getting too far into a project before you realize that you have to turn it down, because it's never too late to turn down the project. But the earlier that you can do it, the more your client's going to appreciate you for saving their time. So if you have a website, or maybe even if you just have a profile on an online casting website and people are finding you that way and sending you scripts, then what I would do is add an FAQ section and just make one of the questions, are there any projects that you won't work on? And then I would go ahead and answer that with anything that you don't want to be involved with. And that's going to save time for both you and the client. They're not going to even waste time sending you the project, and you're not going to have to waste time rejecting the project. If it's an agent that sends you an audition directly, but it's not a script that you're interested in, I would just reply back to the agent and just thank them for sending it along, but just let them know why you're not interested or the reason that you won't be submitting for this one. But, again, thank them and ask them to keep you in mind for other projects. And then on online casting sites, if you're looking at a list of auditions, sometimes just looking at the title is going to tip you off if it's a project that isn't going to be for you. So sometimes just by looking at that title, you can tell it's not a job for you. If the title looks good, then you can check the script itself because the title won't always give you everything about the project. But a lot of times you can eliminate jobs just by looking at the title. So you want to reject the project as early in the process as you can. And once you have a full script, I would just check the topic of the script, make sure you're okay with that. And then I would do a search for common swear words to make sure that no issues are going to come up later on. In long projects, something may slip through. You may not be able to spot it ahead of time. And from my experience, some clients will let you skip a word if it isn't crucial to the project. If it doesn't change the meaning of the sentence and it's just a random swear word in it, you can just let them know. You can say, I can't record this script for this reason, but if you're okay with this minor change, then I can do it. And from my experience, about 90% of clients have agreed just to make that minor change. They're okay with it. So you can always express your concern and just see what they want to do from there. All right, so to wrap this up, you can still be successful in voiceover even if you don't take on every project that comes your way. The majority of scripts that are going to come your way probably won't have any conflicts, but just remember to know your standards, stick to them, and make sure that you communicate it to the clients so that they can make their decision that they need to make. Now, conflicts will come through from time to time, and just to give you a couple recent examples from my own experience, I turned down a project about a month back. It looked like a great audiobook. I would have loved to have done, but it was littered with profanity, and it was just part of the author's personality, so we just couldn't work on it together. Also, recently, someone wanted to hire me to be the voice reenacting a horrific crime that occurred for a true crime podcast. But when I looked at the script, I just didn't want to say those words. I didn't want to have those thoughts, and I just didn't want to lend my voice to the project. So that was another one that I had to turn down. So they're still going to come through. You're just going to have to look for the things that are going to be the red flags and make sure that you communicate that with the client as soon as possible so that they can move on. And it's definitely a personal decision, but these are some of the ways that I've kind of gotten around it over the years. And one other thing I found is that when you turn down the wrong projects, I've noticed that more and more of the projects that you enjoy and that you're comfortable with and the projects that you do want to be a part of, they seem to come your way. So that's been my experience. Hopefully that is yours as well. All right, I hope this answers the question for you, and I hope it helps you. As always, if you have a question you'd like to ask on the podcast, please take a minute, do that at voiceacting101.com/ask. I would love to hear your voice on the next podcast episode. That's it for this one. Thank you again for listening, and I hope that you have a great day. Hey, thanks for checking out this episode of the podcast. If you want to see another video, there's one waiting for you right here, or you can subscribe to the YouTube channel down in the corner. Or if you want to learn the 5 steps to becoming a voice actor, check out this free guide. It's available to download from voiceacting101.com/get started. All right, that's it. I'll talk to you next time. See ya.